This is Jacob from Wager Me This, and this is going to be Wednesdays with Wager, week number one. I'm going to log in on my computer here. Hopefully, this is going to allow me to see the chat, right? It's because we need to see the chat. But so what we're going to be doing this year is I'm going to be doing my Wednesday video as usual. And in this video, I'm going to be doing my bets live for you guys. So this is my account. As you guys can see, I have $905 in there right now. And what I'm going to do is we're going to make 5% plays, right? That's the idea behind it. Trying to get to me here. Oh yeah, there we are. Let's watch that. All right. Why are you not letting me watch this? Anyways, I don't know if any of you guys are already in here or not, but I'm trying to figure it out. This is not going as smoothly as I hoped, for sure. So bear with me. But anyways, so here we go. Now what I'm going to do is hopefully this doesn't log me out, because I'm going to be honest, guys, if it logs me out, it hides my login thing and I can't get back to it. That's what took me so long to get it going. It wasn't anything other than that. It just took me a while to get it going. It wasn't anything other than that. Okay, so you can hear me pretty good. I wish it was bigger than that, obviously. So here goes. So here's the deal. This is Oaklawn Sports Betting Site. This is a local Arkansas. It's a casino. It's a horse track. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about this Thursday game. And I'm going to have to scroll this a lot. That way it doesn't log me out. But let's jump into the Thursday game here. Dallas and the Eagles. So this is the Eagles, Super Bowl, post-Super Bowl, being awesome. Crush the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, which it's not surprising, right? The Eagles were really good. Kind of surprising how it went, though. More so than that they beat them. It was how they beat them. But anyway, so let's just talk about this game, guys. In this one, I'm not opposed to Dallas. I actually think Dallas plus 8.5 is a pretty solid bet. Dallas is they're going to be kind of like the Bengals were last year. It's going to be all passing all the time with them. And I think the Eagles are, their whole secondary is new. It's all revamped. So it wouldn't surprise me if this game stays close. But with all that said, I actually like the over more than I like the game to be close. The over 47.5 there, I think most people are getting it at that number. That's under 48, under 49. But I fully expect there to be a ton of points in this one. The only problem is there could be a little weather possibly, but I'm going to take that chance. So I'm going to bet this over. And I got minus 108 here. If I take it to 48, which is also not a terrible plan, I actually get a much better number. So here we go. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to make $50 bets, guys. $50, 50 to win 96. So what we're doing is taking Dallas and Philadelphia over 47.5. Let's place our bet. There we go. So you guys can see it, as you guys go here. We can see it. What's up, Fuzzy? What's up, everybody? Good evening, good night. I wrote good night. I meant good evening. So what we're doing here, again, I'm going to talk about my favorite bet in this game as well. So this is my favorite bet in this game. And it's actually in the player passing. everyone's site is a little different, but most of them are similar, right? Similar. So we're going to go to player passing. I like Dak Prescott. This is a play that I like here. Dak Prescott over 1.5 total touchdown passes. It's at plus 125. I really like the value on this one. And I expect the Cowboys to be playing from behind most of the night. And so for him to throw 2 touchdown passes is not all that crazy. It's one in each half, or 2 drives. You got 2 drives, maybe you get a turnover, you get a short field. Plus they're fielding 3 really good receivers against a secondary that's basically brand new. Now, I don't expect Dallas to win this game, but I do expect Dallas to score. And I expect Philadelphia, it's a big day for them. They're getting their banner and all that good stuff. But let's be honest, if Philadelphia could score 30, 31, and Dallas could score 17, and you're likely getting 2 passing touchdowns. Plus, you got a good deep threat in Pickens, with Dak Prescott throwing him the ball, which is going to be better. And then you got CeeDee Lamb, and then you got some pretty good tight ends, but you also got Turpin. And that's the one that I like in this matchup is KaVontae Turpin to kind of break away on one probably, or cause a lot of problems for the secondary of the Eagles. The only way this bet really gets wrecked is if Dallas just can't keep Dak Prescott up, if it's just like a 7-sack night. But I think 1.5 passing touchdowns here, it's not egregious in any way. I expect Dallas to be in this game, and I expect Dallas to score in the 20s in this game. That I actually think. So the Dak over on passing yards. If you're going to take the over on passing yards, make sure you're getting it to the plus, whatever you have to do to get it to the plus. Like right here, plus 270, 275 or more. You're getting 175. I like that better than getting minus 104 for 250. If you're going to take those kind of bets, get some plus money on them. But this is the one I like. I'm going to take it at $50. All my bets, guys, are going to be $50 until I win money. It's essentially a 5% play. I know my account said 900, but a guy asked me to place a bet for him, so I got to put his money in my account. So I did. If you guys don't believe me, so now it says 805, and I'll show you the bet that I placed for him. Now, guys, this isn't my bet. This is the bet he asked me to place for him, but I'll show it to you. So there's our 2 bets so far. They let us cash out already. I lost a little under bet today. But this is Terrence Crawford to win by decision over Canelo. He bet 100 to win 305. Well, it's to win 205, but yeah. As you can see the other day, Googs, I did lose that bet with you with the Dodgers and Astros. But so, just so you guys know, I'm being trying to be very transparent, and that's the idea behind it here. Again, guys, I'm not. I think I should have done this probably before, but this, I'm figuring out what people like more and more now, and what people like is transparency, right? So here you go. That's what we're giving you the transparency here, letting you see that I actually do have money on here, that I actually do these things. It's not me just talking. All right, so let's go into the Sunday. Now, the way we're going to do this, guys, I'll probably go on some Saturdays as well with some bets that maybe need to change, maybe need to be laid off. But on Wednesdays, we're going to make these bets. Very well could come on Saturday, and the bet could change. Quarterback could be out. There's things that can change. So I'm probably going to have some changes here and there. All right, so I'm going to talk about the 3 plays I like on Sunday, and I like this ones a lot. All right, my favorite play is Denver -8 or 7.5, if you can get it, whatever you get it at. But the Denver -8 versus Tennessee, let's place that right now. The reason I like this one so much, guys, is simple. Denver had the 3rd best defense in the league last year, 3rd best, going against a rookie quarterback with a team that's, let's say the Titans are underwhelming as far as their talent, right? Their talent's not great. At the Titans, they're going to Denver to open the season. Well, hello, Brian. They're opening the season at Denver. It's just a bad spot for the Titans with a rookie quarterback going against the defensive MVP from last year, Surtain, a great secondary, a really good pass rush, And they added pieces from San Francisco. They added Mufunga and Greenlaw from San Francisco. Denver's defense is likely going to be top one or two. It's just a bad place for Cam Ward to have to start. And then he's going to altitude. Just everything about this game, it says this game should probably be double digit spread. You're getting it 8. It's a good teaser spot if you want to tease it down to 2. It's just a lot about this game. It makes a lot of sense to bet. So that's one I like a lot. It's just a really good spot all around. The next one I like a lot, and this is my second favorite play, is the Pittsburgh Steelers to beat the Jets by 3. This is on the road, but this is kind of Aaron Rodgers' revenge type game. But let's be honest, Justin Fields is not going to do much against his old team. Those guys know him really well. The defense for Pittsburgh is going to stifle the Jets. And you're only laying 3, and you could take the money line at 143 if you prefer that. But you're only laying the 3. You're getting it at a good price right there, 104. So I'm gonna place this bet as well. I think Pittsburgh wins this one going away. Probably wins it by 15, 18, 21, something like that. I don't expect the Pittsburgh offense to be explosive by any means, but I do think they're going to be effective with Aaron Rodgers, barring him tearing his ACL or Achilles in the first 4 plays of the game. It might not work out then, because that has happened. All right, and then the next one, and this one kind of shocks me, is that the Lions are plus 2.5 versus the Packers. This one is a little shocking to me. But the way I'm going to bet this one is I'm going to pair it with the Ravens on a teaser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Lions plus 2.5, and we're going to tease them up to 8.5. And I'm going to take the Ravens right here, 0.5. I had it at a better one before. Dang it. We need to change that. So what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate this a little different. We're going to start this over. All right, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pick the Ravens first. So what are you doing? Why is that like that? Oh, because I messed up. Come on, Jacob. I need to click this. All right, we're going to take the Ravens and we're going to move them over to, come on, stupid thing. We want plus 1.5. We're only giving up 122 there. We like 1.5. It says I can't do a teaser on that, though, so that ain't where we want to be then. I guess we might have to not do the Ravens, because when I was looking at this earlier, it was 1.5. I want over the touchdown there, so we're gonna have to kind of cancel that. That is not. Detroit always has problems at Lambeau Field, but I was trying to give Detroit 8.5 points, so it's gonna be a little different story. But my plan where I was teasing them with is not working now because I waited too long. I hate it when I do that. I waited a little too long. So that kind of screws that up. But anyways, that's where I was going to go with that. So now I can't bet that. And I don't really want to. I like them at the 2.5, but I like them at the 8.5 a lot better. So, we're going to do something you're not supposed to do. I want to play that Detroit game at 8.5. I guess I can do it the other style, right? We can just move the spread and then parlay it. So we can do it that way. We can go to, we can just go to 7.5 instead, if it'll let me here. We'll just go to 7.5 and parlay it and see what we get when we move the Ravens to 7.5. This is another way to do this, guys. If you don't know that, you can just move these lines and parlay it and see where you end up. All right, it's going to be terrible. 159, that's not good enough. You got to be plus money. Guys, if you're making parlays, you got to make parlays that are plus money. If you're not making parlays that are plus money, it's not worth your time. All right, so that ain't going to work. That kind of sucks. I really wanted Detroit there. Interesting. And again, guys, like I said, I'm not going to have a bunch of picks on this show. because these, like I said, I'm making 5% plays, nothing but 5% plays every time. So they're going to be my better plays. I'm not going to, they're not going to be a bunch of reaches, a bunch of, what if plays. They're going to be my favorites every time. So there's some spots we could tease the Arizona down. I really want to find a spot where I can play that Detroit because I actually think Detroit's going to win that game. So either I take Detroit on the money line or I find a teaser spot for them. Let's leave it to the chat. Take Detroit on the money line or find a teaser spot. Which one do we want to do? Detroit money line is okay. So we got a bunch of teasers. The Detroit money line is 120. So we got to find a teaser spot then. I don't really want to tease to 6.5 because that doesn't make any sense from a Wong standpoint, Wong teaser standpoint, because you got to get through the 7 to make it worth it. But we can. So we have potential with. We could take the Commanders down to 0. That one makes sense to me. It's reasonable, right? We're not laying 6, we're just playing to win. That one's reasonable. We could take the Arizona Cardinals down to laying a 0.5 point. We could take Dallas up to 14.5 or Philly down to -2.5. Them are all reasonable. The Seahawks to 8.5 is actually pretty interesting as well. Bears to 7.5. Brian with the Bear pick. Man, I like that. JJ McCarthy in his first start against that tough D. We're doing that. Let's go with that, Brian. I like it. Let's rock that. We're doing it. All NFC North action right there, baby. All right, so what you do here, in most sites, you have to go down here to the teaser bar, right? We're going to go football, 6 points. And then we got to go down here. It's going to give us -162 on that. Ugh. Oh, we're going to rock it, right? I already got some money on Denver Goose. I do like that play, but I'm betting Denver just on the ATS. They are a great teaser spot. So here we go. So we're taking Bears, teasing up to 7.5, Lions up to 8.5. So in both cases, as long as we stay within a touchdown game, which is a wide margin in the NFL, that's a win. Let's get it. All right, lock that sucker in right there. Terrible odds, really. At the end of the day, that's not great odds. But we did add a whole touchdown. So, to recap, let's look at our recap. We got the teaser with the Bears and the Lions, courtesy of Brian Burns. We got the Steelers -3, flat -3 against the Jets. Aaron Rodgers revenge game. Justin Fields trying to play against his old defense. They're gonna give him a lot of problems. I'll be surprised if he makes it through the game. And Denver Broncos -8, my favorite play of the week. Denver -8 against a rookie quarterback making his first start against what's likely going to end up a top 2 or 3 defense in the NFL. They were top 3 last year, but they're probably going to be top 2, maybe best defense in the league this year. Thursday night game, I took Dak Prescott to throw over 1.5 touchdown passes at a little plus money. 50 was going to pay me 112. And then I took the over in that one. I think Philly and Dallas go up down the field on each other. Over 47.5. I like anything up to 48.5 there. You don't want to touch the 49 because that's 7 full touchdowns. And then something to win the bet. So you don't really want to touch the full 49. You really got to have some real offensive machines if you're going to do the full 49. 47 is not a big deal. It's a little easier to get to. Can have some field goals in there. But so that's what I like, guys. This is where I'm at. So we got what is the total we put out? We started with 905, right? So, we put $250 out week one here. And again, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I will have more bets because this isn't the only site. The problem is this is the only site I'm going to put on here because this is actually hard for me to figure out how to get this going because of where the login is. The login is up at the top, and when you go live in a screencast, it hides that. So it took me a minute to figure it out. But I do like some other plays. For example, in the Kansas City Chiefs game and Chiefs in the Chargers game, I like the field goal prop. I like over 3.5 field goals in that game. Let's see what it is right here. Let's see. Come on now. Let's go over here. We're going to get to player kicking. Over 3.5 successful field goals in the game on this side is 105, plus 105. That's any 4 field goals get made by any of the teams. That's 2 pretty solid defenses. The Chiefs tend to play pretty conservatively, and the Chargers are definitely going to play. So and they have 2 good kickers in that game. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 5 or 6 field goals in that game. So I like that play in that game a lot. If you just want my opinion, the Chiefs are going to win that game. The Chiefs kind of own the Chargers, and that game is in Rio de Janeiro. So I'm not buying the Chargers until I see them beat the Chiefs. They beat them one time a long time ago in kind of a fluky game. I know they've been close a bunch, but I'm just not buying it. Carolina and Jacksonville. I actually like Jacksonville this year. I think Jacksonville finally makes their step forward this year. I think Trevor Lawrence kind of puts it together this year. To win that division, they don't have to be great either. I don't think that division's going to be good. So I actually like Jacksonville to win some games this year. Cincinnati and Cleveland. This one's tricky. Cleveland at home getting 5 with Joe Flacco is probably not going to turn the ball over a lot. Plus, Cincinnati's defense is terrible. I actually think that the Cleveland plus 5 is a nice play there. It'd be better if it was 7.5 and you could take it up to that. But I think that game stays closer than people might think. I know a lot of people like to get on the big offensive teams like Cincinnati and just expect them to do a lot. But Cincinnati does not play defense. And I think that game stays closer. It's divisional. And Cleveland. I know Cincinnati and Cleveland's not like these great home field advantages, but I don't know. If I was going to play that game, which I'm not, I would take the 5. Raiders versus the Patriots. This is kind of a trappy game for the Raiders, I think. That's why they're getting points on the road here. Going to New England. New England's expected to be quite a bit better than they were. The Raiders are in transition, right? Like New England too. So you got Pete Carroll coming in there. You got Geno Smith coming in there. I think there's more continuity of the Patriots than the Raiders right now. The only thing that scares me a little bit is I do expect the Raiders defense to be relatively good. And that could wreck that day. Obviously, I'm not going to touch that with anything. If I was going to bet anything in that, I would take the under 43. I think the under in that one makes a lot of sense. There's probably not a ton of scoring in it. So I'd probably take the under 43, but that's all I would mess with. But I do think New England gets that win. This next one is kind of the trash game of the week, really. Miami and the Colts. Miami's all beat up, and the Colts, they're starting Daniel Jones, which could be great, could be terrible. That's another one where there's nothing in that game that intrigues me. I don't really want no part of any of it. There's not a way, and that spread has moved a bunch. It's moved all over the place. It's down to pick 'em right now, and it was like -3 either way at one time or another. It's been all over the place. The Giants and the Commanders. A lot of people I see that I pay attention to, they like the Giants in this spot. These games stay closer than you might think, and actually stay lower scoring than you might think. But the Giants could be a lot better this year with their weapons, and the Commanders look. I still would be on the under 46 in this one. I'm not laying 6 with the Commanders, and I'm not taking 6 with the Giants here. So if I was choosing, I'd take that under 46. I think this game, I think the Giants' defense is a little better than people probably imagine. pretty good pass rush. I also don't think that Jane Daniels is going to sneak up on anyone this year. I think people are going to be a lot more ready for him. Plus, the Commanders have some turmoil there. I think that game stays under 46. That's a not a terrible number to have to be under. There's a lot of stuff like 24-20. Yeah, sure. Smart money does wait a lot of times, but there's also a lot of early in the year action that is very profitable, and I'll explain why, and I'll explain why some of the bets I made follow that. Pittsburgh, you guys know where I'm at on that one. I like the Steelers. Tampa and Atlanta, I have no faith in Michael Penix, and Tampa's one of my favorite teams this year as far as their I think their potential is a lot higher. Their ceiling's a lot higher than people are giving them credit for. That -1.5, I'd have no problem betting it. The problem with it is I don't want to be wrong on Penix, so I'm going to wait, like Mr. TheCardDeal.com said. I'm going to wait on them a little bit to see where they're at. I'd hate to get in that one on the road laying even 1.5 and have a 1 point game bite me or something. But I do think Tampa's going to be really good again this year. Seattle and the 49ers. I think the 49ers are actually on their way down. I know a lot of people are always going to like them. Just because they're always kind of a favorite. But I actually think they're in the middle of a transition, in my opinion, and I don't think Brock Purdy's the guy. I like the Seahawks. If you're playing this one, I'm taking the Seahawks +2.5 at home, or even just on the money line. I just don't think San Francisco goes there to Seattle and does much good. I think this spreads backwards, actually. That's why I thought the Seahawks were a pretty good teaser play as well. You guys know I like the Broncos, not because they're my team. They are my team, but I like them for the reasons that because it's a top 3 defense versus a rookie quarterback and a roster in Tennessee that's not good. It's not a good roster at all. If your best receiver is Calvin Ridley, and you have a rookie quarterback, it's just not going to work. Plus, the Denver's on the ascension up. It's just a good spot for him at home to open up. In the altitude, Tennessee's going to struggle with that. The 8 doesn't scare me at all. I actually think it should be more like 10 or 11. I like the running backs Denver has. The answer is yes, but not by names or by skill or anything. I just think Sean Payton figures out how to use players well. And so I don't know that the name on the back of the jersey matters all that much with those guys. It's just how many reps can he get out of them every week? Because that was kind of the problem last year is he kind of tried to bell cow one of the guys, and it didn't really work. I think if he makes it a 3-headed monster, it's going to be a lot better. But again, I don't expect Denver's offense to be like world beaters, but I don't think you have to be against Tennessee. I don't expect Tennessee to get past 13 points in that game. So if Denver scores 3 touchdowns, you're probably in the clear, which I expect them to. I also expect Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans to turn the ball over multiple times in that game. I would say there's at least 1 interception and 1 fumble in that game by the Titans. So extra possessions for the Broncos. I think that's actually kind of a slam dunk play. It fits teasers, but so does it pretty much everyone else. So I'm probably going to get crushed on it because when everyone likes something, usually it goes the other way. This one, I honestly don't think the Packers should be favored here. I think this should be a pick'em. I know the Packers traded for Micah Parsons, but Micah Parsons is still hurt. His back is still messed up, and they got rid of their run stopper and Kenny Clark. So I actually think the Lions will be able to run the ball right down the middle of the Packers in this one. And the Lions are healthy. The Lions are not what they were at the end of last year. They are what they were at the beginning of last year. So I expect the Lions, minus them 2 coordinators, unless that is such a huge deal that it just derails them, I expect the Lions to win that football game. just win it outright, and probably by a touchdown. I think that's really goofy backwards, and I think that Micah Parsons really moved that line a little bit, move some perception. I know people really like the Packers coming into this year, and I'm not against them by any means. I just think the Lions are still the pretty significantly better team with the better quarterback. So that, and I think Jared Goff is kind of quietly an MVP candidate this year, especially if the Lions have a great season and everyone stays healthy. There's a good chance he flirts with 40, 45 touchdowns. This one, the Rams and Texans. If you knew Stafford's healthy, this is a slam dunk for the Rams. The Rams defense is going to really give Houston Texans offensive lines a lot of problems. But if Stafford's not healthy, then who knows? That game could be 13-10. If Stafford's healthy, I think they win pretty easily. So that one's one you want to wait till right before if you're interested in that game, and probably take the Rams late there. Maybe you get them, at a good money line, or maybe you parlay them with something to get that money line, get that price down. But I like the Rams as a team over the Texans. But if no Stafford there, I wouldn't touch it. Ravens Bills. This is probably the most the highest rated game of the week, right? Like the two best teams facing each other of the week. The teams that people expect to do a lot of damage, and they have to face each other week one. But this is a bad spot for the Bills, and I know we got a lot of Bills fans in here, but in the regular season, the Ravens kind of kicked the Bills' butt, last year especially. And even in the playoff game, if Bills fans are being honest with themselves, they kind of got lucky at the end to secure the win. So I actually like the Ravens here and I don't know about the Bills' run defense. I'm worried that the Bills' run defense is not going to be good, and the Ravens are going to run the ball on you. So I like the Ravens here. If I was picking a winner here, I'm going to ride with the Ravens here, and I could be wrong. The Bills could come out, and they've done a lot of work on offense, and they could be awesome, and they could just dominate this game. But if I'm picking something here, I think I would have to side with the Ravens. Now, I would like the money line to be plus money to take it. Minus 108 is not great. It's just not. It's not really worth taking it. And on Sunday night, I'll have some props for that game. Like, I fully expect, that's a game that's heavy in props, because there's going to be a lot of yardage, most likely a lot of scores. So that's a prop game, right? You want to look at those games for your yardage totals, your reception totals, your touchdowns, the ones that are actually going to have touchdowns in them. You don't want to be betting the Jets in Pittsburgh and looking for touchdowns. It's just you want to be betting those kind of games that are going to have a whole bunch of them if you're going to prop bet. And then the Bears and the Vikings. Oh my gosh, see what it did to me. Anyways, we're not going to worry about it. I'm not going to log back in because I'm not making any more bets. We'll talk about the Bears and the Vikings here. I like the Bears. I actually think the addition of the coach, the making the offensive line better, I think the Bears are going in the right direction. And I think the Vikings are in still some kind of like rebuilding type thing. And plus, we don't know what JJ is going to give them, right? We don't know what McCarthy's going to give them. He didn't play, and the Bears have a salty defense. So if Caleb Williams is any better than last year, they're probably better than the Vikings. Because I actually don't expect all that much out of JJ McCarthy. I think if you actually really break JJ down and you look at his college stats and you look at him, compare him to comparable players, guys like Sam Darnold, guys like even like your Geno Smiths and stuff, like they were much better statistically in college than he was. To be honest, JJ McCarthy was a game manager in college. He had a really great defense, handed the ball off to a bunch of really good running backs, and made a few third down throws every game. I mean, his whole college career, in 3 seasons of playing a lot, he doesn't even have that much yardage. I looked it up today. I actually put it on my Discord. It's not that special. I I know people like his intangibles a lot, but this is the NFL. You still got to be talented. And I'm not so sure where his talent is. How talented is he really? I think we get to see that. I do like their coach in Minnesota, and obviously they have good skill position players. But I don't know. I think this is an interesting matchup, and I think this is the Bears. They can open week one and say, you know what? We are good now, and we got a divisional win. So that's where I like the Bears in that one. I think I just don't know what you're getting from Minnesota. So let's talk about what I was talking about earlier. So let's talk about the bets that I made. Two of them specifically: Detroit and Denver. All right. So one of the things early in the season that you should like to look at is teams that didn't do a lot of changing. Right now, Detroit, their biggest changes were the coordinators. Right. What's up, Waylon? So, and that could be a huge deal, right? But as far as the personnel and the scheme and stuff, it's still all the same. So I like to look at the teams that didn't have a bunch of changes. They don't have new quarterbacks. It's not new head coaching. It's not, that's the ones I like to look at. Denver fits the same model, right? And they're playing against a team that had a ton of changes in Tennessee. So, Denver has basically all the same pieces back plus some additions of on defense and stuff. Same coordinators, same, and that's what I like to look at, and that's what I like to find. That's why early on in the year, it's good to bet those teams that are whole. They're the same team as last year because you're going to be able to kind of predict what you get out of them. The teams that had tons of changes, it's a lot harder to do that. And so that's one of the things early on when you're betting early on in the NFL season. One of the best things to do is just kind of follow what happened last year. Now, that doesn't mean that they necessarily have to be good teams from last year. You could bet against them because you know what they have, right? You could also go that route, which is kind of what you get in the Jets, right? The Jets changed their quarterback. Other than that, they're kind of the same thing. So you're going to get about the same results except for less production out of the quarterback. Because let's be honest, Fields isn't going to produce what Rodgers produced last year. And that's kind of the idea behind the way I do that, and why I look for those spots. Washington and the Giants, the reason I like the under is just kind of history there. I think it's too big of a number. Philly and Dallas, I think the Dallas has turned into just an all passing team. They've invested all their money into passing the ball. So I expect them to score, but I just don't expect them to win a lot of games. I think they'll be around 500, just like the Bengals were last year. Well, they'll win about half the games because they're all one-sided. But anyways, guys, so that's kind of where I'm at this week. I showed you guys the recap. If you want to watch it back, you can look at it. But yeah, so appreciate you guys for watching me. And like I said, this will be every Wednesday, and I'll probably come on some Saturdays as well, probably to make some changes, or if I found something new or if something changed and we need to put a bet down. And guys, some of these videos may be recorded because I do work some Wednesday nights. So on those weeks, I'll have to have a recording. But again, they'll be put on here and you guys will be able to watch them. I'll do the same type of thing. I'll talk through it, do what I'm doing, show my bets live. It's a recording, obviously, but you'll be able to see that the bet slip is put in. So no lack of transparency. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching me and hanging out with me for this hour and staying patient with me while I try to figure this thing out. And, whether you follow or you fade me or whatever you do there, hopefully you guys win all your bets. Again, unless they're against me. If you're fading me, I don't want you to win all of them. You can win some of them, but not all of them, because I want to win some too. But thank you guys. And y'all have a great night. Now let me figure out how to get out of this. How do I get... Okay, there we go. We're starting to figure something out.